G'day fans and welcome back to yet another exciting episode of DNA Reviews where my good self and Nick's good self rip apart some Starfleet Academy episodes. Mr. Nick, it's a hot day today, but the episode itself is really hot. So how you doing, old son?
I'm doing really well, Dags. How are you doing?
Mate, I am rocking and rolling, twisting and shouting, getting down, doing the do and partying hard. What can I say? But I tell you what, I got to watch a bit of the old Vox Excelso, whatever it's bloody called, and I thought, holy guacamole, what an episode. It left me completely blown away, Mr. Nick. How good is that?
Yep. Very, very traditional Star Trek, but we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Absolutely, we will. We've actually got a fair few slides to get through. And for someone like Greg King, who's watching us right now, make sure you stick around to the very end because we've got something very exciting to announce, which is why we're here on a Tuesday night instead of a Wednesday night. But first things first, Mr. Nick, we've got the old Vox in Excelso, whatever that happens to be. And in case you're wondering what that means in the Queen's English or the King's English, a voice on high. I don't know if you went around to doing your Latin translations or not, but I thought that was a particularly cool, a voice on high. And as always, there will be spoilers, which is quite common occurrence in these particular episodes. What do you reckon, old son?
Yeah, I think we get right into it. If we've got heaps of slides, let's get talking because there is a lot to talk about with this latest episode of Starfleet Academy.
I tend to agree with you. Well, I thought the very start of it, and this is roughly in order of how it screens in the episode too, by the way, as opposed to what we do normally. Cool. Start off with the old, it's got Klingons, mate. We've got the old Klingon writing going on. I hope you know. There's only two words I know in Klingon, and one is Kopla, and the other one is Bach, which means fire. The rest I've got no freaking idea. So, so what do you reckon? Did this get your juices flowing, Mr. Nick?
It took me a second to remember I was watching Star Trek because I thought I had the wrong subtitles or something. I'd selected wrong on the old Paramount, and that I was watching this in another language. And then I remembered, nope, Star Trek, that's definitely Klingon. So we were all good, but that was really cool. And then it faded into English, and I thought that was a really awesome way of starting a very Klingon-centric episode.
That would be really funny. You start looking and going, oh, shit, I got the Lithuanian bloody subtitles.
Yes.
I didn't think of that. No, well done, dude. So after what we said last week about how, you remember the episode was all stuck inside the academy, I said they've got to get out and about and do something. And this time they did actually end up going out and about, Athena, and off she went. The thing that I found out interesting is that the bridge window, that window there is actually the windscreen. There's actually a window that leads into the bridge. So for those who don't know, in previous Star Trek iterations, things like the Enterprise and whatever else, the view screen that you're looking at isn't a window. It's actually a physical screen. So I think there was even some versions of the Enterprise where the bridge was actually in the middle of the ship. So the view screen you're looking at is not a window at all. So if the view screen goes out, that's it, they've got nothing. But this is actually a front windscreen. I go, well, that's different. I think the idea is from a point of view of if the ship gets hit by missiles or whatever, like in this case, if it goes through the windscreen, that's it, everybody's dead. Whereas the bridge on a normal starship like the Enterprise D, that's not actually at the front because 10 forwards at the front. It's sort of in the middle somewhere. So I thought that was interesting.
I think the only other time we've seen this, I think Discovery might have also had the glass. I vaguely remember that from the first episode. And then I feel like Strange New Worlds also has, I think the idea is that the first Enterprise had the screen as well. But yeah, I think it looks really cool, and the CGI they've done on it's looking really nice.
Because if you ever watch I think it's the cage, the very first shot is you see the ship and the camera goes into the dome at the top, which means the bridge is not at the front of the ship, it's in the middle.
It's in the dome.
Anyway, I thought it was just an interesting, I thought it was just an interesting observation. So I thought, that's very, very cool. One thing I picked up on this, because you're always observing things, is a lot of extras appeared in this episode, and a lot of them had speaking parts, even if they only had one or two lines. And I thought, all these people are thinking, yes, I'm going to become actors in Hollywood one day, and here they are walking down their corridors with their violin cases and whatever else. But it'd be funny if they're all carrying machine guns or about to rob something down the road. Well, but there was a lot of extras for speaking roles. Sorry, dude, cut you off.
I thought it was really funny. There were a lot there and not very many CGI robots. So I think maybe they did the first episode and realized, damn, we need to pay some actors because they're a lot cheaper than CGI robots. I think,
You know what? I think that's a pretty good observation because after the first episode where they're flying everywhere, now you're looking for them and go, well, there's one there. The one, I think there's one that hands out the awards or whatever, and that's it. And it's like, it's all very, very quiet. So
Gone is the first episode where it was a robot every scene, you know?
Well, wouldn't it be funny if you said, I'm only watching it for the robots now that there aren't any? I'm buggering off. So.
I'm out. Yeah, this isn't Star Wars enough for me, yeah.
Nah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So, yes, who cares about the Klingons? Just show me some more robots. Now, this popped up in previous episodes, and other people have noted it as well. And I thought there's a really good shot of it. Once again, there's a lot of extras in this particular shot, but the thing to focus is on the image at the back. The Bajor Club Celestial Temple. There's a bit of a party going on. Room 5, Deck 12. What do you reckon goes on in that place? They become one with the prophets, Mr. Nick. Yeah.
Yes.
If the prophets are a rockin', don't bother knocking.
Maybe that's the frat sort of hazing that we were talking about last week. Maybe that's where that's the frat house on the Athena.
I love it. So where are you off to tonight, dude? I'm off to the Celestial Temple. Oh, what is the deal with that? So, but that's popped up a few times, and people have noticed it. That was actually a really good shot of it. So the Bajor Club, doesn't that sound a bit? Doesn't that just sound shifty? It's like
it does.
It's like, oh yeah, I was always a fan of the Cardassians myself. Well, you're not going to the Bajor Club, so yeah, no thanks, son. But yes, get a bit of Kai win action or whatever else that floats your boat. So very good. I reckon some dude out there will start up a club for this show called the Bajor Club Celestial Temple and just possibly cash in on that particular name. So
yeah,
I reckon that's cool. Now, this is something that's come up a few times, and this time I decided to highlight it because it's such an obvious thing. What is the deal with this, Mr. Nick? Why the hell are the uniforms friggin' uneven at the bottom? I mean, if you've got OCD like I do, I mean, that's just rubbish. Whose idea was that?
I don't know if they're going futuristic or if it was an intern costume designer who was making them all and got the measurements wrong on one half and they went, we just have to cut everyone's like that. I don't know, but that has bothered me since episode 1 that, the uniform is slightly misaligned. I don't know. I think it's probably just a stylistic choice, but I cannot think of an in-universe reason why the uniform needs to be like that. But anyway, I think that we just got to move past it. That's
So what's it like at the back? Does the back just go like that, or what? Or does it go on an angle?
I think
because from the front,
the back just sort of slope.
It's illogical. It makes no sense. I like this one from Colin. Yeah, they ran out of fabric. Yeah, exactly right. It's not even a smart. No uniform in the history of the planets of the universe has ever had cockeyed friggin' sides. Right? It makes no sense whatsoever. And they've obviously done it in a way so it doesn't look like they've miscut it. They've actually intentionally done that. It's like they couldn't decide. One costume designer said, "I want it this high," and the other said, "We'll do it that high," and they just sort of met in the middle. But
Dags, you clearly really never saw the traditional military uniform of the 31st century. That's clearly what they're basing it off, and I find it really disrespectful that you are forgetting that part in our culture.
I tell you what, absolutely nuts. Well, just having two different lengths. I mean, if you're trying to put it, like if you've ever buttoned up a shirt and had the buttons in the wrong holes, and you get to the bottom and you go,
it looks like that.
It just drives you nuts. So I like it, Greg. It's illogical. They can do it to annoy the Vulcans. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
I reckon
that's why they chose the War College.
I totally agree. If you got OCD, you would actually have major problems with it. It just wouldn't work for you. Now, this one I thought was interesting, right? So, what's his name? The Doctor comes out and swears, right? So we've got a bit of foul language on the show, and one dude calls him out, and I thought that was actually very clever. I love the fact that in the 32nd century, we can still got the class dork. You can't really say that, sir. And he's even got the glasses on, right? Because, most, as has been pointed out, in this particular era, people don't use glasses anymore, unless you're allergic to what, Mr. Nick?
Retinax 5.
Oh, look at him go. He's a nerd. Absolutely fantastic. So you had to think about that, didn't you?
I knew it was Retinax. I forgot the number. But
well done, dude. I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
But anyway, so you got this dude, right? He's even got the glasses on. All he needs now is like the Band-Aid in the middle just to keep him together.
It almost looks like he has it on that image from the distance I'm looking at it. The reflection kind of looks like he's got the tape.
You would think if you're going to have a dude wearing the glasses, don't fit him into the stereotypical, oh, I'm sorry, boss, I'm a little bit of a weak cow. Just like, no, sorry, doctor, you're using foul language on this thing, and I'm offended by that. So I thought, what was the deal with that? So I think that's their way of saying, yeah, look, we're going to put a bit of bad words in this and just do it. Just go through the motions and just deal with it. I agree with you. It's only a small thing. But it's. But
whatever. I think they're also trying to find as many ways as they can to remind people that the Doctor is old. Because I think to the average viewer, they're gonna, start watching an episode. They're just gonna assume he's just a, 60-year-old guy. But they need to emphasize that.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting point, and I know. Look, you got to deal with like real life scenarios that they said to Robert Picardo, they said the characters put in an aged algorithm, make him look older, which for these people makes no sense at all because they didn't know him 900 years ago. No. So he could have looked the same the whole way through. We know why, clearly. It's not a big deal. But yes, if they're going to say, well, I don't relate to you because you look old as opposed to your younger self. But, look, it doesn't matter. But I thought that was just an interesting moment that was like, okay, where are we going with this? I think you are right. It's to show that, yes, he's got a bit of maturity associated with him. Yeah. He's allowed to bend the rules on occasions. Now, this I wasn't aware of. See, I'd forgotten that when we're in Starfleet Academy, I actually thought we're actually in physical buildings, but we're actually most of the time in the ship itself. And you look at this shot here, and to be fair, the production design is very cool. The imagery is really, really great and wonderful. But if this is actually in the ship, mate, how much space does that take up? That's decks upon decks upon decks upon. There's like, where the hell does that fit in the ship, dude?
Yeah, gone are the tiny corridors of Next Generation, and now we've got giant atriums of space. The Athena must be a pretty huge ship. I don't know if someone's done the math or they've done a size comparison, the Athena versus all the other ships in the Star Trek universe. But yeah, massive center of the ship taken up by this big atrium thing. And then you look at all the other parts of the ship as well. The hallways are really, really wide. The quarters they live in are quite big. All of the classrooms are quite spacious as well. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see how big the Athena actually is compared to other starships in the fleet.
Because it almost reminds me a bit like a cruise ship, like a real life cruise ship. Cruise ships have big open areas as well. But they've done that because it's for guests and holidays and whatever else. But this, you're thinking, well, they've built this ship and they're just taken out a massive chunk out of the center of it where there's just nothing there. And it's like, does it actually need to be like that? So I don't know. I mean, I understand why they've done it because you can, because it's a very cool thing. It's like the Strange New Worlds putting a fireplace in, Picard, seeing Pike's quarters and whatever else. But there's got to be an element of logic as well to say, well, okay, does that make sense? Is that actually practical? Would that actually be the case? Because, that's a lot of real estate you're getting rid of. So, I mean, it looks good, but I was surprised. I thought, we've been in the ship the whole time. Oh, who knew that? So anyway, just one of those wacky things. But maybe they have said, yes, we wanted to make it look spunky because it brings in the audience who aren't going to sit there with a fine tooth comb and like analyze it to the nth degree and just go, wow, that looks really cool, and just go with the flow from there. Speaking of things that look cool, you were talking about droids earlier, and we've actually got one in the next shot. I was trying to work out, like, this is where Craig is having a bit of a sook. Where is this? It's like a shop. It's like I thought, well, they're all just selling glass containers. Is the glass containers are us store? Yeah. What is this meant to be, Mister?
That's a classroom.
That? I mean,
they've been in that classroom before. Yeah.
Is that a classroom?
Yeah, I think it's like a lab classroom. Yeah.
Crikey. Because it looks so spunky. I thought, this is out on the atrium cool. itself. It's like, what the hell?
I think it's around the atrium.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I thought, where are they? And I thought, mate, it looks like you'd just be on the other side of that, saying, yes, sir, how can I help you today? And I agree with you. It's the ship's gift shop, although the gifts suck because all the selling is freaking beakers.
Buy a fake Rolex. Yeah.
Made by 15-year-old blind Orion slave girls. Exactly right. So
yes. No replicators required.
No, exactly right. I didn't know that. I just lost track of where it was, but I thought there's a shop counter there. It's like, what the hell is that? That a school? Oh, okay, fair enough. No big deal. It's just one of those things you just notice. You're going, what is the deal with that? Anyway, we finally get into the meat of the story. Finally, it's to do with the whole thing with Klingons and poor good old Crag. Now, the whole story, it's the post-burn, so then we've now got a bit of an idea as what's going on with the old Klingons who abandoned the Federation after the burn, which has still not been explained in this particular series as to what the hell that is. But it gave me the impression that Kronos, which is the basic pronunciation of it, at least has been destroyed or is uninhabitable, and that's the reason why you've got all these refugees everywhere for the Klingons, who would not be a bunch of happy campers over this. And the irony of this, of course, is that in the Kelvin universe / the Picard series, the Romulans also had an issue with home planets not feeling too well, and them also being refugees. So, but how did you find this, Mr. Nick, when this all came up?
It was mirroring, and they did it obviously on purpose, mirroring a lot of the current political state, I think, is what they were going for. And yeah, it was really good. It was good to know what happened to the Klingons, because there's only been one Klingon and one half Klingon so far is really all we've seen. So, they've been such a pivotal part of Star Trek. It's good to know where they are. So now that they're kind of on like a Battlestar Galactica kind of convoy in the middle of space and they've just crash landed on a planet is, very interesting. And yeah, there were a lot of stuff throughout it about how, they destroyed their own home world, or, no, they were refugees and that kind of thing. So it was definitely mirroring what's happening in the real world. And I think that was kind of the idea, to sort of get you to sort of sympathize with it or sort of really understand it. But it was interesting. It was very interesting.
It's probably not surprising that if Kronos did get destroyed, because of the fact that, as they said in Star Trek 6, that the Klingon military budget used to be gigantic, and so if they've got like practically all full of dilithium and the lithium blows up, then like Praxis in Star Trek 6, it probably didn't end well. So yeah, all your Klingons are all on ships just flying around wherever, as you know, like the Battlestar Galactica reference. So that's intriguing, because at least we're getting those gaps filled in as to where they've all ended up. So I was obviously dealing with Craig, and there's a fair bit we've got to cover off regarding him. So he has his flashbacks with the family, and so the great houses of Klingon have all gone down the gurgler a little bit. And I thought these flashbacks are actually very good. A lot of handheld camera work, which I thought was kind of cool. One of the things that's been brought up is the fact that Kahless is pronounced Kalesh. Now, I noticed it, and I wasn't the only one who picked up on this. And apparently there's an explanation for it. I hope you guys can read that. So it started with the Discovery, apparently, and including into this show, they've gone for the more, if you can read it there, the guttural authentic pronunciation, which is more like Kalesh. Now, the funny thing I found about that when I read that comment is that how can you have a more authentic pronunciation for something that doesn't exist? So they've said Kalesh all throughout Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and whatever, and all of a sudden the new series says, no, it's got to change to this other pronunciation. The thing doesn't exist. You can call it whatever you want. So I picked up on it, and I thought, why are they calling it Kalesh? So I get where they're coming from.
I think the excuse is they had no one who knew about Star Trek working on Discovery, and now they're trying to, make an excuse for it, I think is probably what they've done. They just let the actors say it phonetically, and now they're just adopting it. But look, who knows? I guess that's just what it is now. It'll be interesting to see if they use it in Strange New Worlds at some point, if they whip some Klingons in there. I don't know if they have had them mention Klingons really at all. It's all been gone in Strange New Worlds. But
that is an interesting one. So if Klingons, it will be Kalesh or Kalesh. Kalesh. I understand where they're coming from, because when Klingons speak, they speak with a really, really deep tone. I mean, Greg, he's really got the whole war thing down pat in terms of just the sound. So I can't, but it's a fake word, so it really doesn't matter what you call it. So it's almost like they've changed it for the sake of changing it. So I reckon there'll be a whole army of Klingon devotees out there who are completely losing their mind, go, oh my shit, what am I doing now? We've changed canon. Which is it? Is it this one or is it that one? It's just like, I thought because so many hundreds of years have passed that, how words just automatically change from one thing to another and evolve over time. But I thought you wouldn't get Kahless wrong. You'd think Jesus is still Jesus no matter what, right? So anyway, I thought it was I wasn't the only one who picked up on that.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Well, yeah.
We
Jesus
don't know.
in Spanish is with a Y, Jesus or something. So
yeah.
What? Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh,
is that not how you pronounce it?
Jesus. What are you asking me for?
You're doing it awfully, but yeah.
Anyway, Kalesh is the go.
Kalesh,
It sounds better in the original Klingon. What can I say? Make of that what you will. And I do like the fact that, yes, even Starfleet technology was considered forbidden. So clearly the Klingons had an anti-Starfleet / Federation mindset, which makes complete sense. And I completely get that. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. When you first see the ball, you don't really know what it is until the logo pops up. And it's like, okay, so yeah, they're obviously not the happiest bunch of bunnies post-burn, the Klingons. So, and this sort of re-emphasised that. So I thought this is actually a good moment, Mr. Nick.
Yeah, it was awesome to see the brother. It definitely filled in a few of the character gaps. I do wonder if that was something the actor was going for in the previous episodes, him being so close with Mir, but also not. So it was good to see that. And we've spoken about it before in the last few episodes of this, where we don't know who his family is. Has his family denounced him because he, isn't a warrior? And you were pretty much bang on with what's happened. So it was really cool to see the brotherly dynamic. We've had that kind of stuff in Star Trek before, but it was good to see it coming from this angle.
So I need something clarified. So I just didn't 100% get this wrong. So how they've chucked the ball off the cliff, the thing's broken, and Craig's got down there, and his parents were all buggered off in the ship. But you know how he was shooting the bird and he deliberately missed the bird, right? Did his father, Craig's father, want him to join Starfleet or not? This is the bit I was confused about. How did you interpret this?
Not necessarily join Starfleet, but follow his passion for healing. And in that, his brother had told him to join Starfleet. So he went to join, his brother had said Starfleet is the best place to go to learn that. So that's why he went to Starfleet. But what I don't get is, how did he get there if that ball was broken, right? So he couldn't contact Starfleet to get there. And then it doesn't get fixed until Mir fixes it at the end of the episode. So did he go back to the little outpost shopping mall and just buy another one? And if so, why was he fixing the other one? I don't know. Plot holes upon plot holes.
So he goes back to the shop.
Yeah.
No, dude. It's all good. He goes back to the shop and there's some wag with a T-shirt saying, want to join Starfleet now? Ask me how. Sign me up.
Yeah.
So the father wanted him to go and follow his own path, not maybe
follow his own path,
Starfleet, but at least because he's not a warrior, he's a bit of a wuss. So and guys asked, yes, it is the pacifist Klingon, which we know for a fact at some point will be being his undoing when he's going to plug somebody in the head. With that in mind, Thar, which is the brother, hang on, when it goes to enter Stovercore, I was actually wondering if they were going to do this, and they did do this, where the Klingons all growl at Stovercore, and Craig does not partake in the ritual. I thought,
I found that interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was actually a good moment. Yeah. Because originally when I looked at this, I go, hang on, who's the other dude? The dude in the middle at the top. And I realized, I must have had a mate with him or something. So
no, it's the second father.
What was going on. Is there two fathers, is there?
Dude, did you even watch the episode? He said he came from it was a certain word. It's two fathers and a mother. It's the way the pack hunts thing. So it's the two fathers.
I did hear that somewhere, and I didn't know where that was. So
in the episode,
or maybe
is where it was. Dax.
Okay, maybe I was too busy. You know why? I was too busy stressing over the fact that Starfleet uniforms are two different heights. Okay, all right. I'm not entirely sure where they're going with that, but clearly.
Well, I was going to ask you: is that something that Klingons have done in the past? Have two male parents and one female? But no, okay, there you go. So. Yeah, but that was what he said. He came from a family that had two male parents and one female. It was some word he used. But
it starts with P, I think. So okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, all right, fair enough. All right, very good. I think just
So that's who he was.
as a mate
That's who
down the road.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will. All right, interesting. That I'm sure that'll get the purists up in a bit of a rage too. It's like, oh my god, what are they doing with this culture? By the way, just quickly, I like the idea we finally got to see some paper.
Yes.
You don't get to see paper in Star Trek very often, so things are so bad that you're actually back to using the old paper now, which is kind of cool with nice little pretty pictures. So very cool. So the guy has got two fathers and a mother. Freaking hell, dinner time must be fun around that family. That's how many parents does one person need?
I don't know, dude. Yeah. Yeah. So
oh my god.
It'll be interesting to see if they come back. Maybe they're hanging out at that outpost that Mia's mother's at. And it'll just be one big happy family reunion.
I reckon that the writers' room, they said, at the writers' room, they said, do his parents die or not die on the spaceship, right? And at the end, oh, no, they've survived. And I thought, nah, Wuss's way out. They should have carked it. Yeah, should have. But there we go. I agree, Guy. They're Klingons, but not as we know them. That clearly is the case at this point in time. So make of that what you will. Speaking of good old Craig, clearly the actor must have loved this. He had more dialogue than he'll ever have ever again. And to his credit, he really actually did shine. And I was actually very impressed with the guy's performance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was very, very cool.
Yeah. So I was very, very impressed. Obviously, he's been quite wooden is a bad term in acting, but I guess that's what he was going for, was the wooden vibe in the first few episodes. But you can see why in this one, and then he really emotionally opens up, and it was really good.
Did very, very well, and that's one of the reasons why I think the episode was so successful, which is very cool. Now, this is I couldn't help myself. I saw this and I just thought of you straight away. All right, here we go. Note to the director of photography: your film is faulty. There's a brown line running through.
Yeah.
What is the deal with it?
It was there. You had it in a previous screenshot. It just, these freaking lens flares, dude. They are killing me. They are. I know that J.J. Abrams set a new standard for the way Star Trek looks with 2009's Kelvin movie.
Yep.
But Discovery had a lot of lens flares. Strange New Worlds had a bit less, and now they've just thrown every lens flare they've got. It's like they've just gone into After Effects and just putting everyone in. It is just nuts.
So for those who are wondering how it's meant to work, a lens flare is only meant to occur when the light source itself is physically visible, like in this case, usually the sun, right? So you could sort of allow for it when the sun, because it started back in the 60s, they found that there was actually flares occurring in the camera. They were actually considered the bad thing. Don't have them in shot. Now it's become more of an artistic thing. So if you got the sun is shining and you got the lens flare going, you can kind of deal with it, especially when the character's moving in front of the sun and back in the sun and the camera's having a bit of a hard day at the office. But in this instance, it's just going straight across and the light source is not physically visible. So that is actually
like a lamp or something.
A bad mistake artistically. Huh?
Yeah.
What?
It's just from a lamp or something, I think, is probably their excuse, because she's got lamps, but there's no sun. Like, you look at
and there's no light
Superman
source in that shot there. Yeah.
Like the latest Superman movie, there was a lot of sun, but that's proper.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's no light source, then it really shouldn't be there. And it has been added there afterwards. It's not like it was there naturally. So it's like, guys, jeepers creepers. And of course, what was annoying is that Vance, I think his name is, you see all the lens flares through his shots. And then, of course, you reverse back to Aki and she's completely fine. And it's just like, oh my God, why don't you just do what they did with her? So anyway, good stuff. Here's a good question for you. The simple verse. Are we talking about Docky Who? No, we are not.
I wish. I wish. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you're just going to have to sit tight there, Mr. Simon. Good to see you've actually joined us. Very, very cool. Joe's asked what channel is it on? It is on a streaming service, Paramount Plus, I'm assuming. Is that right?
Paramount Plus.
What is it on?
Yeah, it's Paramount. Yeah,
Paramount. Yeah. Very, very cool. So, be sure to check it out. There's only 4th episode in, which is kind of cool. Every once in a while, they do something pretty funky with their shots. I really love this moment, all right? It was a beautiful visual moment. They also, this is actually with Sam earlier, made a good reference to the Kittimer Accords from Star Trek 6, which I thought was very cool, which is when the Starfleet and the Klingon Empire actually had signed their alliance and all the rest of it, which I thought was a nice little gag. But I just thought this was actually a very, very nice shot. So now, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually a glass window, not force field. I think there's some conjecture regarding that. But I thought that was actually very, very cool, Mr. Nick.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, God, no wonder there's so many casualties on starships if they're letting the crew just, have a window thing. One stray photon blast and he's going to get just sucked out into space. Shields go down, he's the first one out. So, yeah.
Well, it's what happens when you get a stone chip in the window and it just gets a little bit bigger and bigger.
Oh, they just call O'Brien.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Which is very cool. So for the first time, we get to see a different Klingon dude. I don't know who this guy even is. Some random dude pops up. He's obviously got a bit of a relationship past with Aki, which I thought was kind of cool. And of course, he can't be seen meeting with her. And I wanted to play the racial card, but it's the first time we've actually had an Anglo-Saxon, I think is the term, playing a Klingon, which is interesting to note. But yes,
we had Christopher Lloyd back in the movies.
Yeah, no, I mean in this series.
Okay, yeah. No, that is true. Yeah, I was wondering that as well. Even going back to Discovery, I don't think we had a Caucasian person play a Klingon. So I don't think we've had one in a very, very long time. So that was interesting to see.
Yeah.
But he was really good. I quite like that character.
Yeah, it worked out quite well. Go to Star Screens, O'Brien. That's actually very, very good. All right, now.
Yeah, love it.
This is an interesting sort of moment between the dude whose name we can never remember and good old Craig. I actually thought it was actually quite good. How did you interpret what was going on with this?
I saw it as like romantic chemistry is the way I picked up on it. I don't know if that's just a generational thing, but that's what I picked up on. And I wonder if that's going to be a thing moving forward. See, I don't know how did you interpret it?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. Right. The other dude comes up and he says, you put the arms together and you do this chanting and all this sort of business, right? Now, I was consciously aware, it's like, Jesus Christ, they are unbelievably close to each other, right?
Yeah.
So where is this going? But because remember the other dude, he's not a human, he's a blue dude.
Blue thing,
human skin. And I thought, okay, if you're trying to create an emotional bond, just to help this Craig get through his sagas, that's how you do it. They're going to be standing close to each other and whatever else. I didn't see it that way. And I don't know if that's intentional or not as to where they're going with this. So, I didn't pick up. But Lynn, who was watching it,
feeling they might. Yeah, I think they might, because I think they might go the route of he's already worried he's disappointing. The blue guy is already worried he's disappointing his parents because he's not the leader anymore, and then he has to come out. And then the question is, well, in the 32nd century, are we really still at that stage of, or maybe that's a cultural thing with his race. I don't know if we've ever had his race on screen before, but I picked up, like Lynn, I definitely picked up that I think that's where they're going with this, 100%. Yeah.
Because when Craig backs away, clearly he thinks, okay, enough's enough. But I wasn't entirely sure where they were going with this. But I've been in shows before would have actually had actors standing really close, and there's like your whole face is just dominated by the person in front of you, and it's really disconcerting because it's invading your personal space. But for what they were trying to do, you had to do the hand thing together and the hands on each other. I actually thought it was more of a support mechanism than anything else. So,
look, it could have been. But I think with what a lot of shows do now, there is a very strong possibility, even if it wasn't intended to be romantic, that they were doing it to, I think they use the term queer bait, I think is the term that is used in a lot of like shows that networks will try to put that in to try to bait that audience into watching the show. So even if it maybe wasn't the original intention, that the idea is that they were just close together to do the whatever it was they were doing, they might have had that in the background. But I saw it as romantic. I think that'll be a story that's picked up on, because I think they'll try to couple off everyone with someone at some point, because
okay. It would have been weird for the actors just being that close to each other, but I thought okay. But I actually thought it was a good moment, because clearly Craig has got this problem, and the blue dude walks in, and helps him out and gets him through it. And it's like suddenly the other dude, the blue dude, I don't even know what this guy's name is, is actually supporting his fellow dudes rather than trying to be the captain of the crew and all this sort of bullshit. And I actually really liked that. I thought it was actually a really good moment. So yeah, had it been a slightly better, more apart, probably would have been easier sort of understand. But yeah, I thought it was actually a good moment. So yeah,
someone
very, very good.
who's not the main character, he's definitely having the most character development in the show so far. Like from what he was episode 1, picking on the Klingon, to now, huge character development versus a lot of the other characters are just exactly the same. They haven't learned anything.
And I think he's the one who actually fixes the ball at the end because Mia gives it to him and says, "Oh, I know a dude who can fix shit," and it's actually him who fixes it. So I thought, no. So yeah, maybe he's feeling into a nice bloke after all.
There you go.
Yeah, very, very cool. Anyway, interesting stuff. I like this moment, right, when Aki comes in and has got a hangover and Thor picks up on it. I thought that was actually very, very cool. So
I am loving their dynamic.
Stay away from it. Huh?
Yeah. I'm loving.
They're actually very good.
Yeah, it's a very good captain and number one vibe. It's very much Una and Pike sort of thing. You know, Spock and Kirk, and they're playing it really well. I cannot remember for the life of me the half Klingon's name. Is it Thal?
I thought it was not Thor, Thok.
Brock or something. I don't know. But
I think it's
she's fast becoming one of my favorite characters. She's huge highlight standout of the show. The way she deadpan delivers everything. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree with you. In fact, as it is, Fox. So there we go. I was right the first time. Even some of her backstory gets covered off. And as I sort of predicted, her mother was a Klingon because all the Jem'Hadars were shown as being male. That's an unusual combination at the best of times because I would have assumed that when the Jem'Hadar were created, because they were effectively manufactured by the founders, that they wouldn't actually have the ability to reproduce. But it is what it is. But I actually thought this was a good moment too, where she sits down and has a bit of a chat to Craig about what's going on. So so that was a good little moment. So good one-on-one dialogue pieces in this particular episode, Mr. Nick.
Yeah, it was a really good emotional scene. I remember, they really tried to do that in Discovery, and it was just kind of laughable. The scenes where the two characters are trying to have half to half, heart to heart. But I really like that scene in this episode. I think the two actors did a really great job, and it'll be interesting to see if there is that mentoring moving forward, if we get more scenes between the two of them, and it's not just because at the moment it is very segregated between students and teachers. They only really come together when something big happens, whereas it'd be interesting to see them interact on a more level playing field.
Be interesting to see if they can actually do that, because strictly speaking, you're not. You're supposed to have that. What do you call it? It's like the officers mixing with the lower ranks. The chain of command thing. Colin suggested IVF regarding how Thok would have been created. I don't know, but it really doesn't matter. It's just one of those sort of observations. I mean, so many generations have passed since the Jem'Hadar were first created. Maybe they were given the ability to reproduce. Now, this is interesting. So we've got a new planet, Fan Alpha. Right? Interesting name at the best of times. Apparently, it has the environment like Kronos. And I thought, well, where the hell's this place been in the whole time in Star Trek? Now, I looked it up. Apparently, it's on the border of the Alpha and Beta Quadrant. Very, very cool. You think this would have been colonized billions of years ago. So, especially if it had the, it was just like Kronos. It's like, how did this one slip through the cracks, Mr. Nick?
Well, Aki does say that there's only one race she knows of that could live in that climate, and that is the Klingons. But it begs the question, could a life have evolved on the planet anyway? If the Klingons evolved on Kronos, could a species like them evolve? But obviously they didn't. But it was a very easy way in the script saying, oh, this is the perfect planet for you guys because you're the only ones that can live on it ever, So, yeah.
What are the chances? Yeah, that's what you call in the writer's room. How do we fix this problem? Oh, look, we've just found a planet that's just been sitting there the whole time. Nobody's on it, and it fits the Klingons. Yay, team.
It's almost like in the first episode where he's like, I can't find my mum, and she waves a hand, and the first thing that pops up on the screen is the planet that he's looking for. Oh, what are the chances? Yeah.
Indeed, absolutely fantastic. So, Fan Alpha, I thought, okay, very, very cool. So, the cool thing is they've got to fight over the planet. They just can't gift it to the Klingons. It makes complete sense. They explain all that in part of the whole debate thing. Okay, just can't give us the keys to the car. You've got to actually earn the right to use the car. And then we've got to have the fight that comes on. Now, two things have popped up. So, the ships pop up. Somebody went through and actually named them all. Okay, I have no idea where these names even came from. The Riker, Capricorn, Lexicon, Thenos.
No, they said it on the dude. Did you not listen to the episode?
Oh, dude, I know, man. I'm too busy remembering stuff. It's those uniform issues, man. But this person actually went through and highlighted everyone. I mean, there's a lot to take on board, dude. Give me a chance here, man.
I immediately heard Riker, so I was like, that's awesome. We've got a USS Riker, and then all the others didn't really stand out to me until we got USS Horizon, and that immediately made me think of the Orville season 3 was the Orville New Horizons, and it just made me go, there you go, Orville's what Star Trek wishes it could be. So,
hang on. So you're hanging shit on me for not knowing these ones. All you picked up was Riker and a Horizon. So there's another four there that you missed. You're not as slick as you thought you were, son.
Yeah, well, what are they then?
I know that they mentioned. No, I know they mentioned what they were, but they did it so quickly, and it's like I'm not going to write them all down. Someone else has done it for me. So, but anyway, good to see. Well, Riker got himself a. It's the starship that's a little wider in the middle. comes with a painted beard on the front of it or something like that.
Yes.
So anyway,
it climbs over space to get there instead of just coming straight into it.
It does now. So finally, in the show, we finally get to see some spaceships. What spaceships do, they're firing at everything. For those who didn't know, apparently some of the Klingon ships came from the game Star Trek Online. And it was like, how cool is this? We finally get to see a battle. And I agree with this one. Where was the USS Dags and the USS Nick?
Nice one.
I tell you what, the staff on the USS Nick were too busy taking their smart-ass pills. I tell you what. Wise ass.
And the USS Dags didn't get there because they didn't hear the message to get to the battle. So there you go.
I missed the memo. It just didn't come through to me. Yeah, then you're right. I'm at the back going, hey, what are we supposed to be doing? We're going where today? Freaking hell. Yes. Yeah. And so they've got to have their little mock battle so they can finally hand the keys of Fan Alpha over to the Klingons. And the world is good. They won in battle. Yay, team. How'd you follow that, dude? Did that kind of work for you?
I thought it was great. As soon as they said it at the beginning, I was like, why don't they just fight the Klingons for it? And then they actually went with that storyline. I'm like, okay, I guess that's the logical thing. But it was funny because I think all the Klingons, they knew. And especially when he was on the screen and she was like, we're going to battle. And he's kind of smiling because he's like, you have figured it out. This is perfect. And I thought it looked great. It is always cool to see big fights happen on screen. That was something that was such a standout in Discovery, was when they did the big fights on screen. So, yeah, it was really cool.
So it's kind of a cheat's way out of it. So we won it in battle. And, of course, the Klingon ship commanders and their crews would all know, well, we're all shooting and we didn't actually do anything to anybody, and all of a sudden there's a battle. So it's a bit of a cutting corners solution because, when they eventually make a settlement on New Kronos and go, oh, you won this in battle, how good is that? And you go, well, actually, we kind of did, and we just fired some blanks at the other guys and they just ran off.
Yeah.
And you think the truth is going to come out eventually. So it was a little bit wanky, but it kind of did work. So, each their own. But it was, I agree with you. It's like, okay, we can't have robots in this episode. We can have some spaceships, and that is all very, very cool. And they got through the problem, and yay team for everyone. So, and good old Craig was like pretty much the dude who made a lot of that happen, which was very, very groovy. Now, at the end of it, good old Craig, I think it's pronounced, is it Craig or Krag? I'm going with Craig still. It gets given the sacred order weapon of the Klingons from the past, and it's a bloody bow. And I thought, with the spiky bits. And I go, whatever happened to the old classic batleth? What happened to that?
That's
dude?
what I
We
was
haven't seen one of those
thinking.
yet.
Like,
What is the
I
deal with
guess
that?
the bow, I guess, is easier because it's hand carved and whatever, and a batleth is metal of some description. But yeah, when he got handed the bow, I was thinking, is that the bow that the dad had? And the
I would
dad
have
had
thought so,
asked
yeah.
him to pass it on
Yeah.
to his son. That might have been what it was. It's not like he could have hurled a batleth at that eagle thing on the planet. But yeah, I think what I gathered from it was, yeah, it was his dad's bow. But yeah, batleths are way cooler than bow.
Well, the problem is that, once again, we're reading a bit too much into this. I mean, bows have obviously been weapons used on Earth here since the billions of years ago, whereas the batleth was distinctly Klingon. Like, it was nothing like it in the universe, right? It's like, okay, that is their go-to weapon. And all of a sudden, they're using effectively a human weapon with some extra metal bits and spiky bits coming out.
Well,
and I go,
okay. The thing with the batleth is Klingons are close quarter combat people. They want to be right there in the battle. They want to be getting bloody. Whereas bows were specifically designed for long range where you don't have to be killed. So it does kind of go against the Klingon ideology of they want to just be in there and just killing everything they can with their hands. And now all of a sudden they're doing that. But yeah.
I agree. I don't know where they were going with that one, and I thought, interesting. So, and I like this from Rusky Babes. Batleth? No. But I thought there was a mistake. There must be a reason for it, and we've never seen. I don't recall, and someone else can correct me if they want to, ever seen a bow used in a Klingon battle environment ever. Right, so this has just popped up out of nowhere, and hopefully it's not the kind of thing they've just chucked in since the Discovery series has been on. But they had it all like completely worked out because a lot of people really dialed into the whole thing of the batleth and what it does and how it works, and people like doing training courses on how to use it and whatever. So for this dude not to get one and it gets the bow instead, I go, yeah, okay. So I don't know, it just seems like a bit of a cheat's way up. But anyway, it is what it is. So believe it or not, we've actually rocketed through my slides. We've got a couple more things before we finish. We've still got about another 14 minutes to go. So how did you find, what's this thing called? Vox, whatever it's called, the episode, old son? How'd you find it? How did it work for you?
I thought it was great. I went into it, you'd already messaged and said that you'd really liked it, and I'll let you explain what you'd said. But so I went into it with pretty high expectations, and because I was thinking, look, if Dags liked it, you've seen 99% of Star Trek that's been released. So I was like, okay, this must be pretty damn good. And yeah, it really was. It was not a letdown at all. Acting was spot on. The script didn't feel like it was written by AI this time. I think they actually really did put their time and effort into all the little, I'm sure that there's a lot of little Easter eggs in there that people who are really, really, really into Star Trek understood and things like that. Obviously, the ships are probably more than just the Riker, which is the easy one to pick up on. But yeah, I thought it was awesome. It was classic Trek. It was like Measure of a Man. It was a courtroom drama, and that's where Star Trek really holds its own against other sci-fi shows, is the politics side of it and the way that they deal with that. So I really, really liked this episode. It was interesting to see a character-centric episode, not of Mia, but also I know that there's probably not many episodes of this season. I'm assuming it's going to go the way of Strange New Worlds, where there's maybe only 8. Whereas, Next Gen, it made sense to have an episode based on Data and an episode based on LaForge and stuff like that. Whereas in this one, there is very little time. We are running out of weeks to get this story moving. And to have it go to another character other than the ones that they've set up, Aki and Mia being the main ones, was really cool. It was cool to see that they've taken the time and it wasn't just something shoved in there.
Yeah, I agree with all of that and found that it was unusual to have a character piece. And because the Klingons have such a long history in Star Trek, a lot of people have really dialed into them. And the Craig character really carried this episode with a lot of dignity and grace. And it was one of those things where you weren't 100% sure where it was going to go. A lot of the episodes tend to be very predictable. And this one, because it was dealing with the tragedy, how does everybody deal with the tragedy and deal with the guy who's dealing with the tragedy? And how do you resolve the entire situation? Because there was a lot of one-on-one dialogue points that we covered off. That I actually thought really pushed my buttons, and we were like, I think it was like 20 or something minutes into it, and I was thinking, I'm really connecting with this. It's a lot of Star Trek shows have the novelty factor, and that's because, as you said, the seasons are so short. And this one, I thought, this is actually really interesting. It's actually really good, and the writing was extremely well done. So, I actually found it to be very enjoyable, very entertaining. And from my perspective, I mean, I know Strange New Worlds is now the flagship of all the shows, but I found that this particular episode was the best I've seen in many, many years, even prior to Strange New Worlds, even go back to Picard Season 3 to a large degree, because it wasn't a cookie cutter episode. It wasn't like, okay, this is going to happen, which leads to this, which leads to this, which leads to this, and we're done, right? Roll credits. It's like, could have seen it coming a mile away. And we haven't discussed that like with the previous episode and whatever else. So for this regard, I thought, it was actually very, very cool. Obviously, it's going to end up with a happy ending at the end, but how do you end up with a happy ending? And that was the bit that I was very impressed with. So, it was actually very, very cool. So, yes, because I think next week's episode is to deal with Sam, the hologram. So maybe they're doing character stories, so I believe. So we'll have to see how that all goes.
Have they said how many episodes are going to be in the season? Have they officially? I assume they have. I haven't looked at it.
I agree. It's either 8 or 10. That's what they usually do these days because they're so expensive to put on. But that actually brings us to the end of our episode. Now, the question that was asked, hang on, way back here, and he's probably long since left us. Are we talking about Doctor Who? The old Docky. Well, funnily enough, this time next Tuesday, we will be. So there we go. The Who report, after 3 years of absentia, is returning with Nick and Mr. Aaron yapping on about the good Docky. And if Greg is still watching us now and hasn't fallen asleep, he's going to be completely losing his load over this. Next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. How excited are you about this, Mr. Nick?
I'm very excited. For those people who know me, Doctor Who is my bread and butter when it comes to sci-fi. So, yes, I am very, very excited for the Who report to come back. I've watched all the old ones, so I know the format, I know how it goes, and it's going to be really cool. 3 years away, that means we haven't really talked about the new series, so it's going to be really cool to get into it with Aaron and have a bit of a chat. And doing it live as well will be great because we can have everyone in the comment section.
Well, if we're going to talk about that. We're talking about, even though we're on a Star Trek show, we're talking about Docky Who. It can only mean this. Radical Dude! Radical Dude! Stop that right there. Jesus Christ, that was bloody awful, wasn't it? Yes, very, very cool. Sorry about that. For anybody who's watching, thinking, why aren't we talking about Star Trek? I know it's really quite embarrassing, isn't it? And the other thing I've got to promote before we finish up, but before we even talk about Aaron Stall, is that I'm actually involved in, funnily enough, another Star Trek scenario to do a mega trivia night on Saturday, the March the 7th. Is obviously in Victoria. So if you're in the other side of the world watching this, then too bad, so sad. At least you're prepared to fly out here for it. So there you go. Talk about sci-fi, fantasies, and trivia here, fantasy and superheroes. Big trivia night, great prizes, lots of fun. Party, 6:30 at St. Piers 10 Primary School in Heidelberg,
I've got to ask,
West. Yeah,
Jags, did you put that photo together?
I did.
How painful was it to put the TARDIS down the bottom? I see you've tried to hide it with the lettering, but my keen Docky Who eyes can see the TARDIS a mile away. How painful was it to add that into your precious Oz Trek trivia night thing?
Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. So I had to do it. I took one for the team. Yes, it's very good. Anyway, so that's what's happening. So the next couple of weeks we'll be promoting that as well for those who are interested in coming along. A bit of a trivia night regarding all things questionable and answers, and have a little bit of fun with it all. And finally, before we're almost about to wrap up, even though he's not here and he won't be joining us, we have to promote the old store, Aaron's Collectibles, which is absolutely fantastic. Mr. Nick, give us a bit of a spiel, son.
Yes, Shop 3, 1 Main Street, Blackburn. Come on down. We've got an amazing collection has just come in of some really, really premium Masters of the Universe stuff. With the new movie coming out, it's definitely time to get on that. Also, some new vintage Star Wars stuff, and then something a bit more left field, some more Smurfs as well. So if you want a little Smurf, you are more than welcome to come into the shop. Everything's on the shelves now, so yeah, it's looking really good. Come on down on Saturday. Dags and I will both be there, so you can come and say howdy. But yeah, no, it's very cool, very cool.
Very good. And just quickly got to do the old Sci-Fi Zone stuff. Some new stuff's coming out all the time, new videos and things, including one that came out today after I had to fix a mistake and reissue something. So be sure to check it out on the old Tube of You, which is very, very groovy. So there you go. So we're 4 episodes into the season for Starfleet Academy, which if it's either halfway through the season already or next week we'll be halfway through the season. We've got 5 minutes. What do you reckon? Is it rocking along quite nicely, or do you reckon something extra should be occurring, Mr. Nick?
It is. It is really rocking along quite nicely. As I said, after 20 minutes into episode 1, this is surprisingly good. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this. Obviously, it's as far in the future as we've ever had. So I know that there's probably not going to be a crossover with any other shows unless they do another time travel thing. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see where we go with this and how long it's going to take to resolve this thing with Mia's mum. Is that going to be the end of the season? Is that going to be in a following season? Are we even going to get a following season? How are the ratings going? So
yeah,
it'll be really cool to see. We are getting one. Yeah, so it'll be really good. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, and yeah, hopefully a trailer for Strange New Worlds at the end of it.
Yeah, you'd have to think. I personally think the end of it will be the mother who pops up on the screen. It's like, oh my god, what do we do now? Yeah, roll credits. Regarding the Docu report, I love this one from Rusky Babes. Who report 2026? What's new on Docu Who? Nothing. Okay, thanks. See you next time. The shortest episode.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Entry credits, roll credits, done. Problem solved.
Yeah.
So, did we ever review Strange New Worlds? Yes, we did. Just one episode though. We did a season thing at the end, which is on YouTube. So I can't even remember what we even said about it. So I think we've done one for each of the seasons, but don't quote me on that. Even I've forgotten what the hell we've done these days. So there you go. But anyway, so next week we'll be back on Wednesday again. Okay, so today is just a bit of an anomaly. But yes, if you're interested and you want to see Mr. Nick talk about things that he's actually good at talking about, feel free to join him for the Docu Who chat next week. And we can't hang shit on me because I won't actually be on the screen, which is good. And it should be a bit of fun and laughter for everyone, Mr. Nick. What do you reckon, sir?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really cool. 2 nights in a row, everyone's going to be stuck with me. So that's absolutely terrible for you guys. I'm so sorry.
I didn't want to say it in so many words, but now that you brought it up, yeah, exactly right. Very good. All right, well, we're going to party hard rock off. Get ready for some the next episode of Starfleet Academy where we talk about Sam, and we'll see how that goes. So in the interim, we'll see you all next Wednesday. Party hard rock on, everybody, and we'll catch you then. Okay, bye for now.